Welcome back to Unlocking Success, in a podcast where we explore the stories of those who have dared to take the leap, bet on themselves and transformed their lives. I'm your host, Charlie Bannon, Managing Director here at House & House. Today's episode is about a journey that started in classrooms of the UK and found its stride in Dubai's fast-paced property market. From teaching English in Banbury, Oxfordshire, to becoming Bayut's Agent of the Quarter in Q2 2025. Lewis Dady's story is proof that communication, resilience and service can take you further than ever imagined. He didn't come to Dubai with years of sales experience, but within a short time, he's made his mark in leasing, becoming a trusted advisor for landlords and tenants, a standout figure within House & House. Lewis, welcome to Unlocking Success.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So tell us, mate, how did you position your life from classrooms in the UK teaching into Dubai's real estate market?
So I graduated uni 2018 and I sort of fell into the teaching game. Basically, I was a TA for a year in the classrooms, and then I sort of fancied it. I was like, yeah, you know what, this is a bit of me, this. So ultimately did my teacher training after that, spent about 5 years in Banbury working, teaching English to secondary school kids. Loved it, I did love it, and then I thought, you know what, could do with a bit of a change here, it's time for a change. Ultimately decided to come to Dubai. It wasn't much of a deliberation, to be honest. It was something that I always sort of wanted to come and do because of the opportunity out here and everything like that. Funny story, actually. I remember the decision maker was one morning. I was sort of leaving for work about 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. I think it was November or December, and walked up to my car and it was just covered in ice, and I didn't have anything to scrape the ice off with. So I just ended up using my driving license. Yeah. And I was freezing cold in a terrible mood on a Monday morning. I was just like, yeah, something needs to change here. And ultimately, soon after, secured a job teaching over here. And the rest is history.
Did you move over by yourself or with?
No, my girlfriend at the time, now fiance, moved over with her. So
Congrats.
we moved over together, which was great. She's been super supportive as well of my time in real estate, which is great of her.
How did that conversation happen at home? Was you the first person to discuss Dubai? Was it
Yes, I was about a year beforehand, and it was sort of just like, nah, you know what, we've got a good thing going on here. And then about 6 months later, the discussion sort of happened about, yeah, I think we should do this. Funnily enough, she got a job in Dubai before me, so I was sort of like, oh, I need to sort my game out here. So
So you did have some sales experience.
I tried my best.
You convinced her to move to Dubai at the beginning.
Yeah. 6 months though, not like leasing out here when it doesn't take too long.
And then when you transition, so when you move over, you're in a teaching role in Dubai. What turned your head towards real estate?
So I think it was a bit of a case of a wrong place, wrong time for me when I came out here to teach. I had a few things going on, and I remember sort of handing my notice in and I didn't have anything to go to. I was sort of applying for jobs in recruitment, and I was like, that's not really me, but as long as it keeps me in Dubai, that's all that matters really. Okay. And I was actually actively avoiding real estate. I was like, well, this is very competitive, it's very saturated, I don't know if I want to go into that. But I had a friend who I met at university, and I called them up and I knew he'd come to House & House. So I was like, look, what's the deal? And so we met, had some lunch, and he was just explaining how it works here at House & House. Leasing, funnily enough, marina leasing, which is what I do. Yeah. And by about an hour in, he convinced me. And Naomi gave me a call.
What changed there? Like, so your perception before speaking to a friend, someone that you trust about working in the market, versus what your opinion of working in the market would be. What changed during that conversation?
It just seemed, he was here at House, and he told me that it's the place to be. It's a reputable company. The road, the path up to where you want to be, the opportunity here is just ridiculously good. And I didn't really want to be sat in an office 9 to 5. I've been used to being in a classroom from 7 to 4 every day, you know. I didn't really want that. And I remember speaking to you in a meeting before, and you know, you asked me how it was going and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, fine, it's absolutely fine. And you went, how well do you think you're doing? And my reply was, well, if there's not a cap on how well you can do, it's quite a difficult question to answer. if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good way to understand the question as well.
Yeah.
Because you can kid yourself thinking you're doing everything that you can do, and like, no, I'm maxed out, but the reality is probably more in the tank.
Of course there is. There always is. You're always wanted by someone. Someone wants something from you.
Yeah.
At the start of your journey here in leasing, for example, you're after those times, and you look back now of how it was at the start, and you go, yeah, this is what I wanted all along. To be busy, to be wanted. Someone always wants something.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a good mindset. Teaching, real estate broker. What's helped you from the teaching? Not maybe even from the studying point of view, but studying to become a teacher, being a teacher in the UK, being a teacher in Dubai. What skills or what elements of that part of your career have helped you in this market, being a real estate broker?
There's actually quite a few parallels I found in this. So adaptability, nothing is ever going to go fully the way you want it to or expect it to. You have to be able to think on your feet all the time. Work ethic as well. I mean, it's either sink or swim. If you're not working hard enough, someone else is going to do that job for you.
Is that similar in teaching?
Yeah, someone else is not going to do the job for you. But with teaching, you're going to fall behind. Your results are going to be...
What, with other teachers, you being replaced by another teacher?
Not replaced as such, but your results are going to reflect the work that you've put in.
Okay.
Ultimately, being able to communicate as well,
yeah,
and set expectations. That's so important in both aspects of the job. Like if you set expectations to kids, you have those expectations. They need to follow that, otherwise they're not going to be in your classroom.
Yeah.
And again, setting expectations, setting the next steps for tenants who have recently moved here. They have no idea about Dubai real estate.
Yeah.
They have no idea how to rent a property here. You need to set the expectations, set exactly what's going to happen at each stage, because otherwise they're going to be lost and it's going to reflect badly on you. They're going to be confused and going, well, I didn't know we had to sign up for the chiller. Mm-hmm. That's going to be an extra 2,000 dirham a month.
Yeah.
That's something you didn't mention before. That's going to be on you.
Yeah. Makes people feel safe as well. If they know what to expect, if you're not going into something blind, people feel safe, they feel secure, and they want to work with you.
Yeah, exactly that. And, you've got to provide that service because, as I mentioned before, if you're not providing that service, if you're not making things clear, there's no clarity, then someone else is going to do it for you.
What was the thing that surprised you the most when you was coming into the office initially?
The sort of Groundhog Day feeling. When I first started picking up the phones, calling day in, day out, just sort of hoping for that little bit of success.
Yeah.
A listing. Yes, fantastic. I've got 5 listings now. I'm going to work really hard on these, And it's competitive. It is very competitive. It's a saturated, especially in Marina. There's so many agents just doing leasing over there on its own that you've got to do something to stand out.
Yeah. Did you feel that internally as well as externally, or just externally?
Externally mainly. Internally, everyone who I've worked with in the Marina has been great to work alongside. When I first started, I knew it was a case of just questions that must have got on their nerves a little bit. But you've got to be a sponge, I think. I think knowledge is so important in the game. You've got to know your area inside out.
And what kept you going when you first came? Because even people with sales experience come here and they're still surprised at the level at which you have to pick up the phone, the level at which you have to work and speak to people and meet people inside hours, outside hours. So what kept you going during that time? Because not everyone does keep going.
No, nothing was guaranteed. That was the hardest part, I think. Nothing was guaranteed for me. And I felt it was sort of like a last saloon, basically, and I had to do it. Otherwise that would be Dubai over for me. I couldn't then go on to another job. I'd have to go back, get some financial backing behind me and then possibly give it another go. But it was the opportunity as well here in Dubai itself that I just saw. There's so much opportunity. There's so much that you can do out here. Why not give it a go? Why not give it everything? It's long days. Sometimes, you're getting calls at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night going, hi, can we view this? And you're like, well, tomorrow, yeah, we can give that a go. But like I said, going back to earlier, someone always wants something. But again, it's a privilege to be in that place. Yeah. I feel, because you are wanted in the Marina. You're getting people reaching out to you who have got properties they want to rent out. Can you look after this for me? Bayut's a massive helper as well because, you've got the rankings in there too, which is which is ideal. So you can actually sort of stand out in a community that is so saturated, because it is a competitive environment. You need to do all you can to stand out.
That's a great mindset. And I know I touched on it earlier, but it's so surprising that when people are busy, they often complain. Oh my God, my phone keeps ringing. Oh my God, is it another call? But the reality is you've done all of the groundwork to be in a position so that you are getting contact. And yeah, every contact's not going to be the one that's going to make you money tomorrow, but every contact's a contact and it's an opportunity. Exactly. You've done incredibly well on Bayut. You won an award Q2 this year, which is massive because that's across the whole marketplace. What led you to win the award in your opinion?
At the time, I had about 60 live listings, and I was here, there and everywhere. I was around the marina all the time, 24/7. Fiance barely saw me. So she complained a bit about that. But at the end of the day, you've got a service to provide for these people who have trusted you to list their property, to rent their property for them. It's their money on the line. And I think what helped is you've got to have an attractive product for people to click on, to want to live in, right? That doesn't just mean the photos look good. It means the marketing is good. It stands out on the portals because there's so many listings coming on all the time, similar properties, similar price points. You've got to make sure that it is the right price point. It's not way over market, because otherwise no one's going to click on it. If there are other listings, for example, an apartment downstairs that's listed for 20k lower, you don't stand a chance. So from both sides, you need to provide a service to these landlords to make sure that, or the owners, to make sure that these are attractive apartments and people want to live in their apartment. And the clients themselves, you've got to make sure that they want to live there.
Yeah. Managing 60 landlords is a lot.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the tenant inquiry that you're receiving off of those listings. What helps you to enable that workload? Because not everyone would be able to, they would break. So what helps you day to day? If someone was listening to this thinking, I've got 20 listings and I feel stretched, how on earth does you manage up to 60?
Yeah, to be honest, I loved it. It was hard work, but ultimately it goes back to the training that we had at the start. You've got to qualify these leads, because otherwise they're going to waste your time, and that's something else that's gone. Your time is gone. You're not going to get that back. Yeah. Now, at the start of my journey here, maybe I was a nice guy. Again, we had this meeting maybe back in January, or I think it was January, and you said, look, you can't just be this nice guy all the time. You've got to be a good guy, right? You've got to do what's best for you, best for the client, best for your owner, right? You can't just be this nice person all the time and going, yeah, look, we'll go and view this, we'll go and do that. I think we could probably do this for you, when they have wild requests for the apartment. Yeah. You've got to set the expectations and have clarity. And the start of that is qualifying, because I remember Jake mentioned it's possible that if you're not qualifying properly, then 95% of your time is going to be wasted. And that ratio is way off. You don't want to be dealing with that, because you'll just come home knackered at the end of the day. You'll burn yourself out. So qualifying is probably the most important part of that.
It sounds like you've picked up a lot of things that either I've said, or probably Jake more so, and arguably the trainers too, along the way. And you're like referencing back to that now as to what's been helpful. If you were advising a friend of yours who's still in teaching, they called you like you did to your friend that was here, what would your advice be to them about what they need to do to find a strong level of success in leasing, just as you have?
You've got to be a sponge. I think knowledge is so important. I think you've got to listen and learn to those who have more experience than you. I find myself in a position that I am an experienced broker now in the marina, and I feel like I know it inside out. Yeah. You get new starters come in that ask you question after question. That's fine. That's not a problem. I was in that position as well. And that's a good thing, I suppose. Asking questions is going to, it's going to get you that knowledge. Going out there and experiencing it as well. Go and know your stuff. Because if you don't know, then the client's going to smell that a mile off. Mm-hmm. And again, they could quite easily go somewhere else, to someone else who knows more than you.
And what if your friend said, okay, well, what mistakes did you make? Like what to watch out for? What are the trapdoors that you didn't see coming that inevitably came at some point?
Don't think you know everything.
Yeah.
Don't think you know everything, because you'll get caught out eventually.
Is that with clients?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Clients will, because again, they don't know everything. They're relying on you most of the time to be their font of knowledge, right? And if you're not clued up as to, is this building chiller free? What view has this apartment got, for example, you're going to get caught out, and it's going to be instantly recognizable for them.
I think the way you explain it is the reality of it. And a lot of people talk about sales experience, but everything that we're speaking to here isn't the ability to close a deal or that old school, old fashioned, I'm a salesperson. It is just customer service. And the clearer you can be with people, the more information you understand, the more information that you can provide to someone, and the more help that you can give them, the more chances are that you're going to make more money, because they're going to want to work with you because they feel safe.
Exactly that. If you can be approachable, and if you can
be useful,
be adaptable, be useful, then that's going to go a long way.
Yeah.
That's going to go a long way in the long run. And the closing deals might not happen straight away. I remember when I first started and I wouldn't shut up on the viewings. I was going, it's gypsum in the ceilings, it's brilliant. This is here. The balcony area is 86 square foot. It's fantastic. At the end of the day, you need to be quiet and you need to let them ask the questions that they want to know. You don't need to give them everything under the sun, to try and close the deal. You need to be quiet and just listen to them rather than just talk at them. And if you can sort of get these skills within your sort of bow, if that's the right expression.
Yeah, it works.
Then the closing deals will come.
Yeah,
it will come. It's as straightforward as that.
How does working in a Dubai real estate market and office compare to being surrounded by the teaching environment? And what I mean by that is you've got different colleagues earning different salaries. There's probably more clarity around like the route of progression and like how much you can earn in the teaching world. Whereas in the sales world, some people do incredibly well, most people do well, and some people are just really trying to do well. What's that like as a comparison from your perspective?
I suppose in the sales environment, there's more motivation. I remember seeing these numbers on the board going, that would be nice.
Yeah. And
that's the motivation that eggs you on to get to that point. Teaching is very much, it's a far slower pace, right? It takes, at least a year if you're exceptional at your job, maybe a bit longer, it depends how hard you're working at a job, your teaching job, to get that promotion. Whereas in this environment, you're rewarded pretty much straight away. Mm-hmm. If you're doing what you should do, you're going to make your way up the ladder a lot sooner. But again, the environment is so much more competitive than in teaching.
Has that ever got on top of you in a negative way?
At the start, yeah, like I said, Groundhog Day. That Groundhog Day feeling at the start, it was tough. It was tough. But again, you can see the clear progression that there is, especially here. And that does egg you on big time. That sort of motivates you to keep pushing. Because it will happen. If you believe in yourself, then of course it's going to happen.
What are you working towards now? What's pushing you on? And yes, this is recording.
It's a tough question. I mean, I just want to keep beating my numbers at this point in time. I just want to keep beating them, because I have done for the last 5 months. I've just kept doing it, which is a great feeling.
Yeah.
I want, we had a discussion about sales as well.
Yeah.
We'll head over there soon, I think.
Does it make you nervous? Like when you think about that, because you probably think about it more than anyone, what comes to your mind? Because there might be other leasing brokers that are sitting there in the same position as you, right? Feeling like they might want to take the step, or they want to take the step, but something's holding them back. Like where mentally, what stops you from doing it now, as opposed to being like, hey, I'm doing that tomorrow? But what's the thought process there?
It is the starting all over again. But I've sort of had a discussion about that with quite a few people. It won't be starting all over again, will it? It won't, because I've made, and I think it's very important that you do this in leasing. You make those connections.
Yeah.
and you have those relationships with your future buyers, your future sellers. Because ultimately, you've made those relationships. It's not going to be starting again. You'll have those, and you'll keep in touch with these people throughout your time in leasing. You get repeat clients who go, yeah, Lewis, now I'm ready to buy. Yeah. Like, yeah, fantastic. So the answer is I don't know.
The reason I ask is because so many people go through it, right? So it's helpful to talk about. And the reality is it feels like a risk, because you got to a point where you're doing well and you've worked really hard to get there, and it is Groundhog Day again. It's like starting again. But the step of moving to sales is less risky and less scary as the first step of entering real estate in the first place, because at that point you knew zero, and now you know so much more than then. But even though we can logically understand that, it does take a bit of confidence to be like, yeah, I can do it again.
It's true.
And I think everyone in leasing gets to a certain point where they just feel like now's the right time, and they'll follow their gut instinct. The only mistake someone can make is waiting too long, because it becomes harder and harder and harder. Like if you're doing well, like that 8 to 18 month sweet spot is probably perfect. Like earliest 6 to 8 months, latest sort of 18 months, because at that point you really know everything you need to know, and you're repeating the task, and it can become monotonous, as opposed to like growth mindset, aggressive environment where you can really take control of your own income essentially in another part of the business.
It's something I'm looking forward to. It is something I'm looking forward to. I don't know what to say to that, but
which is honest, and that's probably where a lot of people sit. But yeah, I feel like it will just creep up on you one day.
Yeah, but I think ultimately at the moment I love what I do. I'm in the office, for a while in the day, and then I'm out meeting new people, meeting clients all the time. I'm getting people get in touch with me. I've said that previously, but hi Lewis, can you come and rent this out for me? I've seen your name on the portals.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It is a position where you do get comfortable, but at this moment in time, I genuinely love what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to let that go quite yet.
Yeah, it makes sense. Have you made any sacrifices along the way to become as stand out as you are within the office? Because people look up to you, right? And you're a very good agent. So
thank you.
I don't think that comes. I don't personally think that comes without sacrifices, or putting things second maybe to put this first.
Yeah, it's true. It's time. It's time that you spend away from your mates, all that sort of stuff. I mean, with the teaching, the holidays were fantastic. They were great. So you could nip off from here. You could nip off to anywhere in the world for a few days during these holidays. Yeah. Now that's certainly not the case, because if you take your foot off the gas, then you're going to lose that momentum. So that the time that you've lost previously and will continue to lose, it's a sacrifice that you're going to have to make to get your foot in the door of real estate, and make yourself stand out.
A common expression in today's world is work-life balance, and you've probably gone from having a career that's got the best work-life balance.
No.
What, teaching?
No, it's terrible.
Why? Because you bring it home with you.
Bring it home with you. Weekends. Yeah, honestly, it's not too dissimilar to real estate. The only difference is I'll be sat at home planning on a laptop or marking paper rather than being out and about meeting people. That's the difference. But again, I've not had a job where the work-life balance is fantastic. Okay. The thing with real estate is you can control your time, but if you are opting for that work-life balance, it's not going to go the way you want it to.
Yeah.
As harsh as that sounds.
You miss the opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's even more traumatizing because you're doing the majority of the work and then just missing the opportunity.
Exactly. You're going to miss out on quite a lot. You have to be ready. Yeah. Okay. And understand that leasing is that fast paced.
Last question. What does success look like to you today compared to when you first came in?
When I first came in, a successful day was getting a listing online. Getting a live listing, you're like, yes. Because at the start, you get owners who will be like, yeah, not for listing. And there's a lot of rejection. But again, that's something that you have to face. So getting a live listing was unbelievable. Like, that was success. And I'd go home and I'd be like, yeah, got another live listing today. That's 3 now in 3 weeks. Like, However, today it looks like repeat clients, and obviously the tangible rewards from, Bayut promotions as well. That's what success looks like at the moment. But more importantly, it's the repeat clients coming along, because for a fact that you have serviced them as well as you should have, and they're coming back. They might be deciding to move somewhere else, or they want to buy something now. And I think that is the greatest honour that you can get. Landlords, owners, or tenants getting back in touch with you to say, or even recommendations actually from previous tenants or previous landlords, them getting in touch with you going, hi, so-and-so gave me your number because you rented their apartment, you serviced them well, I'm hoping you can do the same for me. I think that's the sort of biggest success. You can do your numbers, fine, but if you haven't serviced them properly, then that'll be it. They're not going to come back to you.
Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you, Charlie.
Appreciate your time. From the classrooms of Banbury to high rises of Dubai, Lewis Dady's story is about the power of communication, resilience, and taking a chance on yourself. His journey shows that success isn't just about big sales numbers, it's about clarity, consistency, and having the right mindset. Whether you're a landlord, a tenant, or someone thinking about starting your career in Dubai real estate, I hope that Lewis's story reminds you that with focus and dedication, you can carve your own path to success. Thanks for tuning in to Unlocking Success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and join us for the next story of grit, growth, and greatness.